Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks.
My name is Karen Myers. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm 65 years old today. But what I'm about to tell you didn't happen in some distant memory. No. It's burned into me like it just happened yesterday. And maybe that's because no one ever really forgets the moment they're betrayed by the two people they thought they could trust the most. You need to apologize to him right now. My husband shouted in my face. Yes, on our honeymoon. In the middle of a hotel hallway, while I stood there shaking with rage and disbelief. Apologize? I gasped, my voice cracked, my hands trembling. He grabbed me, Ethan, he touched me. You saw it with your own eyes. He looked down the hall nervously, like he was more worried someone might hear than about what had just happened. Karen, he's just old. He didn't mean anything by it. You know how he is. That's when I lost it. All the shame, all the confusion, all the pressure I'd been bottling in since we arrived. It exploded. You brought your father on our honeymoon, and now you're defending him after he laid his hands on me like I'm some waitress at a dive bar. Keep your voice down, he snapped, grabbing my wrist. I yanked my arm away. Don't touch me right now, Ethan. Don't. You don't get to tell me how to feel after what just happened in that room. Just an hour earlier, I'd been unpacking my things in our honeymoon suite, a little too dressed up, still wearing my reception gown, the lace a bit stiff against my skin, heels kicked off to the side. I bent down to get my charger from my bag, and suddenly his father walked in, unannounced, uninvited, and unashamed, looking good. Karen, he slurred, drink in hand. I stood up, startled. Mr. Kane, what are you doing in here? He didn't answer. Just gave this low, wheezing chuckle and looked me up and down like I was a piece of steak. Ethan's one lucky guy, he said, stepping in closer. I mean, back in my day, women didn't dress like this unless they were asking for attention. That's when he did it. Hand on my hip, fingers lingering where they had no right to be. I shoved him away instantly, heart pounding. Get out, I said, loud enough to echo. That was the moment Ethan walked in. I thought, for a split second, that he was going to lose it, that he'd throw his father out, defend me, hold me. Instead, Dad, you okay? He asked, like I was the one who'd caused a scene. I just came to say good night. Don't make a big deal, son, his father replied, voice dripping with mock innocence. She's just emotional, like I was some hysterical child, like I'd imagined it. I was speechless, and Ethan, he stood there, saying nothing, doing nothing. I rushed past them, tears in my eyes, straight to the hallway, heart racing, air gone from my lungs. And now here we were, in that hallway, where my husband wasn't comforting me. He was defending his predator of a father. "You know what?" I said, voice low but seething. "You're not a man. You're a scared little boy who's so desperate for his daddy's approval. You'll let him treat your wife like dirt." His jaw clenched. "Don't bring my relationship with my dad into this. He's been through a lot. He just lost my mom. He's confused. Confused doesn't make you a pervert," I spat. "Grieving doesn't give you the right to violate someone." I saw it, for a flash, shame, in Ethan's eyes, but just as quickly, it was replaced by that same cowardice, that same need to keep the peace, even if it meant letting me drown in humiliation. "Just let it go, Karen," he said quietly. "Please, for me." And that's when the worst part hit me. He didn't want me to let it go for his father's sake. He wanted me to let it go for his daughter, because his comfort mattered more than my safety. My throat tightened. Is this how it's gonna be now? Every time someone disrespects me, I have to bite my tongue just to keep your fragile little world intact. He looked away, didn't answer. I didn't wait. I walked back into that hotel room, grabbed my phone and my wallet, and left. I walked out, barefoot, in a crumpled dress, not caring who stared. And the next morning I bought my own ticket home. He called, over and over. I didn't answer. You see, sometimes the most dangerous man isn't the one who hurts you. It's the one who watches it happen and tells you to be quiet about it. If you've ever been told to stay silent for the sake of peace, know this: you're not wrong for speaking up. You're not crazy. You're not dramatic. You're brave. And to every woman who's ever been cornered, touched without consent, or silenced by someone else's comfort, this story is for you. Keep watching. You won't believe what happened when I came back to face them both. Asterisk, I stayed at a cheap motel for the night. The kind where the sheets smell like cigarette smoke and the walls are thin enough to hear someone cry through. That night, that someone was me. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I stared at the cracked ceiling fan and tried to figure out how everything could go so wrong so fast. I was supposed to be on my honeymoon. I should have been on a beach with my husband. Instead, I was in a broken-down motel, shivering under a thin blanket, trying to process that the man I married wasn't who I thought he was. Asterisk, by noon the next day, my phone had 37 missed calls and 12 voicemails, 1 from Ethan, 11 from his mother, and 25 from his father. That last part made my stomach turn. I didn't listen to a single one. I knew what they'd all say. "You're overreacting," or "this isn't the time or place," or my favorite, "think about how this looks to everyone else." I already knew their lines, because I'd heard them 1,000 times growing up. People who'd rather protect their image than face the rot underneath it. But I wasn't a scared little girl anymore. That evening, I booked a flight home. 3 days later, I walked into Ethan's mother's house. She had asked for a family meeting, and against my better judgment, I went, not because I wanted peace, but because I wanted the truth in the light. In front of everyone. No more phone calls. No more hiding. No more whispers. Just me, them, and the truth. As soon as I stepped inside, I knew what kind of ambush I had walked into. Ethan's mother stood in the center of the living room like she was hosting a fundraiser. Not a family crisis. Her pearl necklace looked tighter than her fake smile. "Karen, sweetie," she said, arms open. "I'm so glad you came." I didn't move toward her. "I'm here to talk," I said, clear and cold. Ethan stood in the corner with his arms crossed, eyes low, no apology, no welcome. And then he walked in, his father, wearing the same smug look he had the night he touched me, like nothing had happened, like I was just a storm cloud he had decided not to notice. "Karen," he said casually, sitting down like he was the victim. "We've all had time to cool down now, right?" "Cool down?" I snapped. "You put your hands on me." His mother let out a sigh so loud you'd think I had ruined a wedding. "Karen," she said, folding her hands like a school principal, "let's not turn this into something it's not. You've made your point, okay, but airing it out publicly, walking out of your honeymoon, leaving Ethan like that, honey, it was cruel. Cruel. That word sliced deeper than any insult. I'm cruel," I said slowly, my voice shaking. "You want to talk about cruel? Let's talk about the man who assaulted me and the family that defended him." "You're exaggerating," his father cut in, rolling his eyes. "I just made a comment. You were showing a lot of skin." I was tipsy. It wasn't serious. I looked him dead in the eye. "You touched me. You leered at me. You made me feel unsafe in a room that was supposed to be mine. And now you're sitting here rewriting it like I hallucinated the whole thing." Silence. For 1 second. 1 blessed second. I thought Ethan might step in. He didn't. Instead, he said, "Karen, please, can we just move forward? You're making it worse." I laughed, not out of humor, but out of horror. "So that's what this is about? Keeping things neat, keeping your mother happy, your father's reputation clean?" He didn't look me in the eye. "You didn't marry a woman," I said, You married a scapegoat. Asterisk. That's when his mother exploded. Asterisk, you embarrassed. This family, she snapped. We had guests calling us, asking why you stormed off like a lunatic. Do you think this is how a wife behaves? Asterisk, I turned to her, fury boiling to the surface. A wife behaves with dignity. A wife expects respect. A wife doesn't get felt up by her father-in-law on her wedding night. Asterisk, the room froze. Asterisk, even Ethan's father had nothing to say. Asterisk, so I did what no one else there had the courage to do. I stood tall, grabbed my purse, and walked to the door. Asterisk, wait. Ethan mumbled, "You're not seriously leaving again?" Asterisk, I stopped, not to listen, but to deliver one final truth. Asterisk, I was taught to believe marriage meant compromise, but I won't compromise with people who treat my trauma like a burden. You didn't just break my trust, Ethan. You buried it under silence, shame, and spinelessness. Asterisk, then I left. Asterisk, and this time I didn't come back. Asterisk. Asterisk, I didn't go home and cry after I walked out of that house. Asterisk, I sat in my car for hours, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me from falling apart. My lipstick had faded. My hands were still shaking. But for the first time in days, I could breathe, not because the pain was gone, but because I'd finally stopped pretending it didn't exist. Asterisk, the next morning, I opened my laptop. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I knew this. I wasn't going to be silent anymore. Asterisk, I started writing. Not an article, not a letter to the family. I wrote my truth, exactly as it happened. No filters, no polite framing, no tiptoeing around the man who'd violated me or the people who wanted it buried. I wrote every word like I was talking to the version of myself who'd once believed that speaking out made you dramatic. The girl who used to say, "It's not worth the fight." Asterisk, I posted the story anonymously at first, just to a small online women's support group. I didn't give names. I didn't seek pity. I wasn't out for revenge. I just wanted the silence to end. Asterisk, but something unexpected happened. Asterisk, the post blew up. Asterisk, within hours, thousands of women had commented, sharing their stories almost identical to mine. Stories of in-laws, co-workers, uncles, friends of the family, who all meant well, who were all just old, who didn't mean it, who deserved respect. It hit me like a wave. I wasn't alone. I had never been alone. I had just been surrounded by cowards. Asterisk, one message changed everything. Asterisk, it was from a woman named Lee. She worked for a podcast that specialized in telling real stories from women who had been silenced. She asked if I'd consider reading mine on air, anonymously, if needed. At first, I said no. I was scared. I wasn't ready to rip open my scars for an audience. Asterisk. But then I thought about the look on my husband's face, that mix of guilt and cowardice. I thought about his mother's pearls and cold stare. I thought about the way his father smirked like nothing had happened. And I said yes. Asterisk 2 weeks later, I sat in a small recording booth with a mic in front of me and headphones tight on my ears. The host gave me a gentle nod. Whenever you're ready, Karen. Asterisk, and so I spoke. Asterisk, I told the story again. This time to the world. My voice trembled. My hands sweat. But I didn't stop. I named no names. But I didn't soften the truth. Either. I ended the episode with this. Asterisk, I was told to stay quiet out of respect for an elder. Asterisk, but where was the respect for me? The bride, the daughter-in-law, the human being. Asterisk, silence isn't noble. It's just fear wearing a mask. Asterisk, when the episode aired, it went viral within days. Asterisk, not because of scandal. Asterisk, not because of fame. Asterisk, but because so many women had lived the same nightmare. Asterisk, Effen's family heard it too. Asterisk, I didn't need to tell them. I was the woman behind the microphone. They knew. Asterisk, my phone lit up with messages. Not apologies, accusations. Asterisk, how dare you go public with this? Asterisk, you're ruining our family name. Asterisk, do you have any idea what this is doing to your husband's career? Asterisk, yes, the career, the image, the family name. Asterisk, but what about my name? Asterisk, what about the woman you left shaking in a hotel hallway? Asterisk, what about the life you tried to shrink down to a misunderstanding? Asterisk, one message from Ethan stood out. Asterisk, I wish you'd come to me first before dragging this out in front of the world. Asterisk, I stared at that line for 10 minutes. Asterisk, I did come to you. Asterisk, I came to you trembling, broken, and raw. Asterisk, and you told me to let it go. Asterisk, so now. Asterisk, I was letting it go. All of it, out into the light. Asterisk, I didn't respond to him. I didn't respond to any of them. Asterisk, instead, I answered the women in my inbox, the one saying, you gave me the courage to tell my husband what his brother did. Oh, you helped me realize I wasn't crazy. Asterisk, that was who I was speaking for now. Asterisk, that's who I always should have spoken for. Myself. Asterisk. Asterisk, it had been almost 6 months since I left that house. Since I walked away from Ethan, from his family, from the life I thought I was building. In that time, I didn't crumble. I rebuilt. Not loudly, not dramatically, but piece by piece. I got my power back. I moved out of our shared apartment. I went back to work. I found a therapist, And most of all, I stopped apologizing for telling the truth. Asterisk then one day, in early spring, he came back. Asterisk it was a Sunday morning, quiet, peaceful. I had just made coffee, had a book in my hand, and for once, no weight on my chest. And then a knock. When I opened the door, I froze. Asterisk it was Ethan, holding a bouquet of pink peonies, my favorite. Still tall, still neat, still carrying that soft boy charm that once made me feel safe. But this time, I didn't feel pulled in. I felt nothing. Asterisk high. He said softly, "Can I come in?" Asterisk I looked him up and down. "Why are you here?" Asterisk he didn't answer right away. Just held out the flowers like a peace treaty. I heard the podcast. I knew it was you. Asterisk I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. And asterisk he blinked. And I wanted to say I'm sorry. Asterisk I crossed my arms. For what? Exactly. Asterisk he looked caught, like he wasn't expecting the test. For not standing up for you. For not believing you in that moment. For freezing. For being weak. Asterisk I tilted my head. You weren't weak, Ethan. You were compliant. There's a difference. Asterisk his face dropped a little. He nodded. You're right. Asterisk he sat down on the front steps like it was still his house. I stayed standing. Asterisk I keep thinking about that night, he said. What I should have done differently. I should have thrown him out. I should have protected you. I was just afraid. Asterisk afraid of what? I asked. Of losing your father, your status, or just of conflict. Asterisk he didn't answer. That was the answer. Asterisk I've changed, he said, a little more firmly. I've been in therapy. I've talked to my mom, too. She knows now. She regrets how she acted. Asterisk I almost laughed. Regret looks different on people who still call me dramatic behind closed doors. Asterisk he looked down. I don't expect you to forgive me. Asterisk good. I said flatly, because I haven't. Asterisk there was a long silence. Then, quietly, he asked, do you still love me? Asterisk, that question hit different than it used to. Once upon a time, I would have melted. I would have softened. I would have tried to make him feel okay again. But not now. Asterisk love isn't the problem, I said. I loved you. I still love the version of you I married. But love doesn't survive in places where respect dies. And you let mine bleed out. Asterisk he looked away. Jaw clenched. Asterisk you could have stood beside me, Ethan. You could have shown our future kids what it means to protect someone you love. Instead, you showed me what it feels like to stand alone when I needed you most. Asterisk he stood slowly, flowers still in hand, unsure of what to say. Asterisk I'm not here to beg. he finally said. I needed to see you. I needed to tell you that I see it now. Everything you said, you were right. Asterisk, I sighed. Maybe you do see it now. But I had to break to make that happen. Asterisk, then I stepped forward, took the flowers, and laid them gently on the porch bench. Not out of cruelty, not out of anger, but to show that not everything broken needs to be burned, but it also doesn't. Need to be repaired. Asterisk, I hope you grow from this. I told him, I hope the next time someone needs you, you show up. Asterisk, he nodded, eyes wet. I will. Asterisk, then he walked away. Asterisk, and I didn't watch him go. Asterisk. Asterisk, I watched the seasons change. After that. Asterisk, winter melted into spring. Spring turned into summer. And just like the earth slowly shedding its weight, I shed mine too. Not all at once, but layer by layer. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was quiet peace. And that kind of healing, it sticks longer than any apology ever could. Asterisk, I didn't call him. I didn't follow up. I didn't wonder if he changed. Because I realized something that shook me to my core. Closure was never his to give. It was mine to claim. Asterisk, and I claimed it the day I stopped waiting for someone to fix what they broke. Asterisk, I started a support circle online. Just a small one. No big announcements. No fancy name. Just a place where women like me could write what they were too afraid to say out loud. I called it the second voice, because sometimes that's all it takes, hearing one woman say me too before another finds the courage to say no more. Asterisk, the group grew. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands. Asterisk, stories poured in. Some were short, some were horrifying, but all of them had one thing in common. They had been silenced by someone they trusted. Asterisk, and each time I read one, I didn't feel re-traumatized. Asterisk, I felt fueled. Asterisk, because now I knew why it happened. Asterisk, why I went through that fire. Asterisk, not for pity, not for bitterness, but for purpose. Asterisk, you see, people like my father-in-law, they don't expect to be called out, especially not by the people they think are too nice or quiet, or new to the family. They rely on shock, on shame, on silence. And when you break that silence, even with just a whisper, it rattles the whole system. Asterisk, I rattled it. Asterisk, and for the first time in my life, I was proud of my voice, even if it shook. Asterisk, one day, I got an email from a woman named Clara. She said my story had stopped her from walking back into a marriage where she'd already been dismissed 100 times. She wrote, asterisk, greater than thank you for telling your truth, Karen, asterisk, because of you. I told mine, and I got out before it cost me my self-worth. Asterisk, I read that email 10 times. Then I cried. Asterisk, not because I was sad. Asterisk, but because I finally felt like everything I lost was building something stronger for someone else. Asterisk, do I still think about that hotel room sometimes? Yes. Asterisk, do I still remember the look on Ethan's face when he told me to let it go? Asterisk, absolutely. Asterisk, but those moments don't define me anymore. Asterisk, they refine me. Asterisk, I'm not the woman who was groped on her honeymoon. Asterisk, I'm not the wife who walked out. Asterisk, I'm not the girl who got shamed into silence. Asterisk, I'm the woman who spoke and kept speaking until the silence broke. Asterisk, and if you're listening to this, asterisk, if you've ever been touched when you didn't want to be. Asterisk, if you've ever been told, don't make a scene. Asterisk, if someone ever asked you to be quiet, to protect their reputation at the cost of your own dignity. Asterisk, let me be the first to say it loud. Asterisk, you weren't wrong. Asterisk, you weren't dramatic. Asterisk, you weren't overreacting. Asterisk, you were surviving. Asterisk, and now you get to start living. Asterisk, asterisk, greater than silence doesn't keep the peace. It protects the powerful. Asterisk, but your voice, it protects the next woman. Asterisk, speak, even if it shakes everything. Asterisk, 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 if you connected with this story, share it. Asterisk, not for clicks, not for views. Asterisk, but because someone out there is still scared, still silent. Asterisk, and they need to know. Asterisk, they are not alone anymore. Asterisk.